104.5, the team, your home for New York Yankees baseball. ESPN's Andrew Marchand joins us right now. Let's start with the Aroldis Chapman news. He says he wants 6 years. He's not going to say he wants $100 million because if you deserve it, you just get it, allegedly. What will the Yankees be willing to do to get him back in pinstripes?
I definitely don't see 6 years. Will they do 5? Oof, I would say no, but, maybe they've, changed their philosophy. A 4-year deal would make some sense. It's still, even that's a lot of time for a closer who's going to approach his, move into his 30s during this contract. I mean, to me, I'd go 4 years and that'd be it. I would not go 5.
What's the
go ahead.
I was going to say, what's the market if it's not 5 or 6? Is there going to be another team that would offer him that number in Major League Baseball?
Yeah, that's always the question. The Marlins have some interest, apparently. The Nationals are involved. The Cubs, I know that it's been reported that they haven't been involved, and Chapman said that to our Marley Rivera as well, but they still would shock me if they swooped in late. The Dodgers, you have to consider. And I think a lot of those teams make a lot more sense in terms of if they were to splurge on Chapman than the Yankees. To me, yes, the Yankees are trying to reload and trying to win the next 2 years, but their next super team, could come in 2019. So they have 2 seasons to get there. And to me, you have Dellin Betances as a potential closer. To spend big money, I don't know. To me, it doesn't really make that much sense. I guess, you're trying to win over the next 2 years, and the Yankees do have money, and I'm sure in their calculations they can still sneak under the luxury tax next year or be around it when they're going to lower payroll. But I think it's more of like a finishing move, especially when you have Betances. If you don't have Betances, okay, I can see that. But I just think you're going to have Chapman then for those 3 years when you're just about to be good, and you're really not going to know what Aroldis Chapman is going to be at that point with perhaps a diminished fastball. And quite honestly, if they end up doing a 5-year deal, I'm going to rip the heck out of it.
Andrew Marchand with us right now, 104.5 the team. So I look at Dellin Betances and more or less a fan, not even an analyst. When I look at this team, he doesn't seem to have the makeup of the closer. He seems to be amazing in that setup role, but when he goes out there as the closer, he doesn't seem to look as dominant.
Yeah, I totally disagree. Okay. Because yes, at the end of last year, did Betances struggle as the closer? He did, but he's been great for 3 seasons, and I think he can handle the role. I just think that it could be that, and even if he has the role and he struggles, I don't think it's that he can't handle the role. It could be that after 3 years of being an all-star, throwing more pitches than anybody in baseball as a reliever, that's caught up to him, and teams also have realized that they can, if they get on base, if they can manage to get on base against him, that he's so easy to steal against. That's something he's going to have to work upon. But I don't think it's because he doesn't have. I think that's a lot of times overrated. But to your point, and I will grant you this, he has been an all-star as a setup guy, and then we saw at the end of last year when he was a closer, he did definitely struggle. But to me, that was more of less his head and more coincidence, in my opinion. Maybe that will be proven wrong, if he has a really poor season and he's a closer next year. But that's what I think it is, less than, Dellin can't handle the last inning because it's, he's got nothing to fall back upon like you do in the setup role in the 6th, 7th, and 8th inning.
Let's swing it over to a guy who currently isn't a New York Yankee, but he could be in the future, and that's current Washington National Bryce Harper. There's talks the contract negotiations between the Nats and him are done. There's been rumors of a 10-year, $400 million contract that he wants. Is this setting up for him to be a New York Yankee in the future?
It is, but there's a lot of time between now and 2018, after 2018. So you got 2 seasons. Let's see what, Bryce Harper didn't really have a great year last year. He's going to have to be, excellent the next 2 years to get that type of money and have that type of value. But I do think there's a very good chance. I'd say I put it on the plus side of 50% that he'll be a Yankee. He wears 34 because 3 plus 4 equals 7 in honor of Mickey Mantle. He is going to be 26, where the Yankees' payroll is and where the young talent they have, where they're going to emerge is right there in 2000. After 2018, going into 2019, if a lot of these prospects that Cashman just traded for, if a good amount of them work out, I mean, it just seems like the perfect storm for Bryce Harper to man the outfield at Yankee Stadium. So, again, plus side of 50%, but no guarantees, because you also could have a wild card team. We saw this years ago with A-Rod in 2000 when nobody would have predicted the Texas Rangers were going to be the club, and then they offered $252 million. There might be a team out there, who is willing to give Harper $50 to $100 million more than the Yankees will be at that point, and so maybe there's no deal. But he also fits in their philosophy. He'll only be, I think, 26 at that point. So a 10-year deal for a 26-year-old outfielder makes sense because you figure to get at least 7 good seasons out of a guy like that, out of the 10, which is a pretty good ratio, 70%. And to me, like, going back to what we were talking about with Chapman, out of those 5 years, how many good seasons are you going to get? What's the probability he's going to get hurt? I just think that's too long a term for a closer with his velocity. So and there's a difference. He's 28. Harper would only be 26 as an outfielder.
Andrew Marchand with us, 104.5 The Team. Okay, so what moves do you see the Yankees actually making, during winter meetings and leading up to the season?
Good question. Cashman said he doesn't think they're going to add a starter, and I can see why, because the market is very limited. They're for sale. That's not Cashman, when he's talked about, the possibility of Chris Sale, he thinks that's more of a finishing move if they're one player away to give up that many prospects. And so, that's not that's not really a move for them. They've thought about Jason Hamill in the free agent market. How much better is he going to be than what they have? They have, basically 8 starters and, 3 guys who are locked in, and 2 of which you really don't know exactly what you're going to get. You have Tanaka at the top of the rotation, and then you have CC and Pineda at the 2 and 3 spot. Maybe not in that order, but you don't know exactly what they'll be. You'd think Pineda might have a big year as free agent after next season. And then you have 5 young guys competing for 2 spots going to spring training. So it's a good question. I mean, what are they going to do? We'll see if they're going to get Chapman. I mean, a lot of people feel like they'll get Chapman or Jansen, and perhaps they will. They definitely want those guys. Again, I don't know. We'll see how we'll find out. I mean, where their desire is, how deep it is, if they get those guys. And then position players. They added Holiday, so he'll be the DH and backup first baseman outfielder type. And if they don't make another move, then there's really no holes. So unless they trade a Gardner or they trade a Headley, then I don't see them changing much in terms of what the lineup looks like right now.
Andrew Marchand, we got the news this morning that they're going to honor Jeter on Mother's Day. The guy got a year-long farewell tour. How big is that celebration going to be?
Yeah, it'll be a big deal. The tickets are they're almost $1,000, I guess, because they're not, they're I should say almost $770. That's almost $1,000, I guess. But,
I'll go with $1,000 on that.
Yeah, I mean, they're limited right now because season single tickets aren't being sold as of yet, so it's only from season ticket holders, and I guess that's the only way. And I guess the secondary, I don't know, the secondary market gets some of these tickets, but yeah, it'll be a celebration of the guy's career, the Yankee legend, probably top 10 Yankee of all time, and really the closing of the book on that chapter. Unless. And if it's, maybe A-Rod's in a different chapter, and I don't know if he'll end up in Monument Park or not, but this is sort of, I think, the last guy from that core 4 team that will be honored in Monument Park, and so and it's fitting that it's Jeter.
Andrew, we know you're busy as all get out. We appreciate your time, my friend.
All right, thank you. Best of luck, guys.